God message today. The letter from Eldoria. There was a moment when the stars paused, as if all of creation held its breath. In the quiet city of Eldoria, where mist curled around ancient rooftops and the scent of rain clung to cobblestone, a sacred letter began its journey, not carried by postmen or couriers, but escorted by light itself. Torn from the chambers of heaven, it bore the weight of destiny, the sound of truth, and the ink of divine reversal. 3 hours. That's all the time that remained. Sitting in her modest home, under a ceiling she once prayed beneath with trembling lips and tear-streaked cheeks, Ilara had no idea that her life was seconds from shifting. The strange flutter she felt in her chest wasn't anxiety, it was alignment. The unbearable pressure in her spirit wasn't confusion, it was the nearing pulse of deliverance. God whispered across dimensions, "This moment is for you." The delay ends now. The truth emerges from its silence. The letter had been sealed long ago, before Ilara ever knew she was missing something. It had been redirected, hidden, forgotten, buried in vaults of fear and silence. But Archangel Michael, keeper of sacred inheritances, had held it safe beyond the veil. He stood in the gap when even Ilara gave up hope. "You cried in secret corners," said the voice. "You fought wars no one acknowledged. They saw your smile, but missed your collapse. I counted every tear. Not one was wasted. And now the truth surged forward like a tidal wave of divine memory. The name on the letter, it would send shivers through Ilara's bones. It was someone she thought was lost to her, someone who once vanished into the shadows of pride and silence, someone who wrestled with the weight of conscience until finally surrendering to something holier than fear. It was midnight when they wrote it, hand trembling, heart pounding. They couldn't rest. God had whispered Ilara's name to them in a dream that wouldn't fade. They awoke breathless, trembling, overcome with the urgency to act. The letter said what Ilara always suspected but never dared believe. You were never forgotten. The promise made to you was not a myth. It is written in golden ink across the scrolls of heaven. And now, what was stolen must return. This inheritance, it was not merely gold or land. It was identity, legacy, a generational healing meant to touch not only her life, but those after her. It had always been hers. Yet they tried to tell her otherwise. They tried to replace her truth with imitation, her name with lies, her fire with fog. But now clarity was coming. Truth was breaking through. What was denied would be delivered. What was whispered behind her back would now be shouted from the heavens. You are not reading this by accident, the voice whispered again. You were led here because the scroll has unsealed. Your inheritance is not only restored, it is multiplied. Every room where she had felt invisible, every moment she was made to feel unworthy, was now being undone by one divine act. The moment Ilara opened that letter, her hands trembled, but not in fear. Her spirit recognized the truth before her eyes did. The name at the bottom, it broke her open. Caius, the brother she hadn't spoken to in 12 years, the one who disappeared when their family fractured, the one who held secrets and shame so heavy that silence became his shelter. But he wrote. He finally wrote. Ilara, it began, I've watched your light from afar. I told myself you didn't need me. But the truth, I needed you. I was wrong to hide what belonged to you. I was afraid, but no more. This is yours. Always was. The inheritance, a sacred land deed, the last untouched acres of their ancestors' vineyard in Solmir Valley. But attached was more. Photographs of their mother's journals, affirmations she'd written about Ilara, dreams she'd had, prophecies she recorded before passing. You will be the one, her mother wrote, who carries the flame. Ilara wept, not from sorrow, but because finally everything made sense. The loneliness, the long wait, the silence that screamed. It was all leading here. The letter didn't just bring back land, it brought back her name, her worth, her truth. Heaven thundered in response. They'd said she was too broken, but God said, she is healed. They whispered she was unworthy. God declared she is chosen. They tried to erase her, but her name had been carved into eternity. Every no she received was being rewritten into a holy yes. Every delay turned into a delivery. Every manipulation collapsed under the weight of truth. The moment arrived like sunrise after 1,000 endless nights, and standing beside her window, letter pressed to her chest, Elara whispered, I knew something was coming. I just didn't know it would feel like coming home. The clock struck the hour. 3 hours had passed. The seal had broken. The veil had lifted. The inheritance was no longer a hope. It was a reality. And nothing, absolutely nothing, would ever be the same. In the heavens, Archangel Michael smiled. The story had shifted. The chosen had received. The forgotten was remembered. And in the streets of Eldoria, under the weight of revelation, Elara finally stood tall, not just as a woman, not just as a sister, but as the fulfillment of a promise made in the halls of eternity. She was never too late. She was always right on time. There's a weight in the air tonight, like a stillness that isn't empty, but charged. Something unspoken has been hovering, waiting, like a message wrapped in divine breath, carried on wings too vast for human eyes to see. And now it moves. Across the rooftops of Belhaven, beneath the wind that wraps the old cathedral like a promise, it moves. Down quiet alleyways, through the forgotten paths of memory and prayer, it travels to find you. A letter, not just ink on parchment, but a letter that carries legacy, prophecy, and redemption. You won't miss it this time. No, this time you'll see it clearly because its time has finally come. And when your fingers unfold it, read it slowly. Let the truth soak into the places where doubt used to live. Let it wash over your weary soul like oil warmed by heaven itself. God never forgot you. That's what the ink says between every line. He never forgot. This isn't the end. It's the beginning. The beginning of the chapter where your silent nights turn into morning songs. The beginning of a shift. No, the shift. The one that turns scars into scrolls and suffering into sacred stories. You may not know it yet, but your name has already been whispered in rooms where destinies are written. This shift, it will shake the world around you. It will cause questions to ripple through circles that once forgot you. How did this happen? They'll ask. And the only answer you'll have will be wrapped in the kind of awe that silences pride. God remembered. They thought it was lost, that inheritance. The one tied to your grandmother's prayer closet. The one hidden behind decades of sacrifice and silence. But it wasn't. It was preserved. And the one who preserved it, he knew exactly when to send it. And that time is now. 3 hours. That's all. 3 hours to ready your heart, to clear the sacred space, to exhale fear and inhale faith, because this moment is unlike any other. The angelic realm has stirred. Michael, God's warrior and messenger, has moved. He has released it, and it's coming toward you, not like a soft breeze, but like a storm of divine inheritance, fierce and full. You are standing in a threshold between what was and what will be, between mourning and rejoicing, between delay and destiny. Cross it. cross it with boldness, leave behind the chains of what you thought you missed, and prepare to receive what's always been yours. This is the fulfillment of what was spoken in secret, of what was whispered to you when you were alone and wondered if God still heard. He heard, and now he speaks again, not through thunder but through a letter. A message so precise, so timely, you'll know it's not of this world. When it arrives, don't rush. Open it gently. Let each word speak louder than your doubts. This letter doesn't just carry information, it carries identity. It holds a truth that's been hidden, a detail you never knew was missing, but that will unlock everything. You've asked for confirmation. Here it is. But what will startle you most? Who sent it? Not a stranger, not an official, not someone far removed. It will be someone you never expected, someone whose role in your life was clouded by silence, someone whose motives were masked by distance. And when you see their name, you'll pause, you'll question it. How can this be? And yet, your spirit will know it was always meant to be this way. The inheritance is both seen and unseen. Yes, some of it is provision you can hold, touch, use, but more than that, it is the unlocking of your name, the recognition of who you truly are and what heaven has assigned to your lineage. This isn't just a breakthrough for you, it's for every generation tied to your obedience. You've waited, oh, how you've waited, through years of silent prayers, fasted tears, misunderstood steps. You've questioned the timing, wondered if you misunderstood the promise. But I assure you, child of light, nothing was wasted. Not the years, not the tears, not the wandering seasons. Every moment led to this one, and I have orchestrated it with a precision that only eternity understands. It will happen suddenly, but it was planned before you were even born. This divine letter, this holy notice, it has been preserved like a treasure in the spirit. It will arrive when your hands are finally strong enough to open it without trembling from fear, when your heart has healed enough to accept joy without doubting if it's real. You are ready. Even if you don't feel it, even if your mind protests, your spirit has already crossed over. You've stepped into Kairos time, the divine moment where heaven touches earth. Archangel Michael has guarded this path. Every night you cried out, every time you were almost taken out by despair, he was there. He fought what you couldn't see, and now he brings this gift, a legacy, a prophecy turned reality, not because of your perfection, but because of your persistence, because you dared to keep believing when there was no sign, because you kept showing up when your strength was gone. This blessing, it's for the faithful, the hidden faithful, those who walked forward when they felt abandoned, those who loved anyway, forgave anyway, served anyway, and now heaven repays. Do not fear what's coming. It will shock you. Yes, it will make your breath catch. It will shift the axis of your understanding. But it will also confirm everything you quietly dared to believe, that God never lies, that He never forgets, and that He always delivers what He promises, even if the path to get there breaks you, especially then. So prepare. Open your hands. Speak life into your space. Light a candle if you must. Set the atmosphere. You are not preparing for an event. You are preparing for arrival. And when it arrives, let the tears fall, not of sorrow, but release. The kind of tears that only come when the waiting ends, when hope fulfilled becomes a tree of life, when destiny, no longer delayed, finally enters your house. The old has passed, the false narrative, the one where you missed your moment. It's done. This is the new story, and it starts with a letter that proves God's word does not return void, a letter that proves the fight was worth it, The love was not wasted. The sacrifice was not unseen. He saw, and he remembers. This is your season, your threshold, your confirmation, and it's only the beginning. Type yes if you believe in OD, type 1111. If you believe in God,